Roxo Media House.
I'm good, bro.
You have to pull out the shoes, dude. Bro, take the tag off.
No, it's how you
What
rock
are you
them.
doing?
You hating because you got the same
All right.
shoes every show.
Ready? What is up, everybody, and welcome back to My Turn, Voices of Student Athletes. And we are joined today by the one and only Madyson Buchanan. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Buchanan.
Yep.
Yes. She play. How do you even say it? Do equestrian?
I'm on the equestrian
On the equestrian
team.
team. There you go.
I'm an equestrian,
Yes.
something like that. Yeah.
There we go. So for our icebreaker today, this one's really cool. If your belly button was a button to do something random that related to you, what would it do?
You got one?
Shoot. I guess related to me, like translate anything I'm saying from German to English.
Oh, okay.
So like I speak and it just automatically translates it.
I'll go next. Mine will probably be a microwave or something. Something to do with
Why
that.
does it have to relate to food?
Bro, we weigh
you big?
300 pounds. Both of see, look, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about. I was telling her that.
Instant meal.
Yeah,
Just like,
instant meal. Ding,
Hey,
done.
you would, man.
Instant. Gosh.
Y'all know.
Mine, I gotta say, it would probably be like a little transportation button.
Oh.
Yeah, like take me anywhere.
Yeah.
That's
Like
good.
no commute. I could
See,
just go over to Germany.
Teleportation.
Like teleportation.
Teleportation
Yeah,
is the best thing that's
teleportation.
probably
Yeah,
have.
I think I have to do that.
All right. How you doing? How's everything been?
Good. It's been really busy. We're kind of like in the middle of our season. I mean, we go all year, so it's kind of like we're always in the middle of our season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we've got a huge meet tomorrow against OSU. OSU's coming here.
Oh, okay.
And we've been on the road. This is going to be our first home meet, so it's pretty.
That's good.
Yeah,
Where do y'all compete at?
we're out in Burleson.
Burleson.
It's like a 20-minute drive just straight on the Chisholm. And yeah,
It's cool.
Okay.
I was gonna say, when does your season start?
it starts like about 2 weeks into school. Like we
Oh
have
my
our scrimmage, and then we just start having meets, and we end like mid-November, and then we start right back up like mid-January.
Dang.
Yeah,
So you said tomorrow's your first home.
home meet. Yeah,
So
so we've been on the road this entire semester.
what?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We had our scrimmage at home against Tarleton. They came to us, and that's really just kind of for newcomers. And then we went to South Dakota. We've gone to Baylor, and yeah.
Y'all fly there?
Yeah, we fly to South Dakota.
I'm sorry. Are you
It's a
exhausted?
long drive. That was a few weeks ago, but I feel like it's still, like, we're still playing catch up. Yeah.
I see. Man. All right. So I guess aside from being an equestrian, doing equestrian.
Yeah,
It's funny because literally, like, nobody really says that. Like, if I, like, met you just,
I
like,
see.
I'd be like, I wouldn't be like, hello, I'm an equestrian. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, I ride horses.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
just, like,
Yeah,
that's,
there
like,
you
the
go.
professional term.
Okay.
Like,
So
yeah.
aside from riding horses,
Yeah.
I guess what are you into?
I'm a journalism film double major.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty into both of those. I'm actually starting my own podcast. Yeah, a little plug. No, it's for like I'm in a podcasting class for one of
okay.
my FTDM classes, and it's actually been so fun. But we had to come up with something. So me and my roommate we just like filmed our trailer in our closet. We don't really have like a setup like this, but yeah.
Is this an assignment?
It's an assignment, but like it's gonna be like we're gonna put out episodes and like it's gonna
So if
be
you
like
could-
legit.
Without giving anything away, because I'm sure it hasn't came out yet.
Yeah, the trailer drops on November 1st. So
Y'all
Monday.
heard that?
Yeah,
What's the name of it?
it's called Hotel Perspective.
Oh,
There you go. Check it out.
Yeah, check it
Hotel
out.
Trailer,
perspective.
everything. Check it out.
Let's go. So how'd you get into journalism? Right.
I came in business, and that changed like really quick.
Yeah.
My dad is into business, so I was like, sure, I'll do that. And then I'm not good at math, so I very quick, and I've always been good at writing. I really enjoy it, so very quickly I switched out of business, dropped my math class, and then was just taking some intro classes. And I was taking a history of film or broadcasting or something, and then I was taking an intro to journalism. And I just had a great professor who I still actually like have had every like semester, every year at least once. And she really convinced me for journalism. And then I found out I just had like all the credit hours for film and not the minor, because I was just going to minor in that. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll just double major. And it's been pretty good since then. So, I mean, it's a lot, but yeah.
Schedule gotta be busy, huh? Double major.
Yeah, really busy. I think I kind of was just like, oh, perfect. Like I've got all the major requirements. I might as well just do that. Like I wasn't really thinking like senior year, like seminar classes, like all of that, like kind of stuff. But it's been pretty manageable because they're more like project heavy classes, not like homework heavy, I guess, like stuff you like. At least I like doing it. So it doesn't feel so bad.
So with the film thing, what is your favorite horror film?
Oh, horror film. I cannot watch horror films.
Either.
I cannot watch them.
I can't.
Nope.
So you don't have
None.
one?
Not a horror film, no.
Dude, this movie, we talked about this earlier. There's a movie out right now called like Terrifier or something.
Terrified 2.
And they're saying that like people are like throwing up and can't watch the movie. Like I couldn't imagine sitting there and just like looking and having it make me throw up.
And still sitting through it.
Yeah,
it's just like a little bag.
What are you watching that's making you throw up? Like I can't imagine.
I feel like that's from like gore, but people were passing out. Like it has to terrify you that much. Like I don't.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I don't want to be scared. I want to enjoy my time.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like I want to sit down and it's a good movie. No, I don't want to be scared the whole time.
There's very few horror movies I've like sat down and will watch, and I just every time I regret it. I get paranoid for like the next week. I'm like, someone's following me. There's a ghost in my house. There's like, even when I was a kid, I watched like Coraline, and I swear
that one was scary.
I had nightmares for it. Like I thought the little spider woman was in the closet, like in my like corner of my room. Like, oh.
When I was a kid, there was this movie called 9, and it's like these little.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm
I heard about that one.
That thing looks scary. It's like these little sand puppet things, and they're trying to like fight for something. I don't know. Someone knows what I'm talking about. Someone knows what I'm talking about. All right. So aside from the movie, whatever.
Yeah.
How did you when you were younger? Did you like have any like journalism like experiences?
No.
You just got into it.
Yeah, I just always liked to write. I think I would just like write little stories, or I'd like write just random stuff. There was nothing that I'd watch like the news with my dad, but there was nothing that I was ever like, oh, I want to do that. Like I want to be on the news. I want to like do anything in that realm. I always liked movies too, but I was never like, oh, like I want to be a director.
So that happened when you came here.
Yeah, kind of like it just kind of fell into place, and now like the two majors go together so well. Like there's so many things I've learned from one that I can apply to the other. If I'm working on like a package for journalism, I have like a lot of editing skills from FTDM, and that I can take over, and they work really well together. Yeah.
Is there like anything that is kind of a goals right now, like career wise, now that you've been in like these classes, if it's like an editor for a newspaper or writing, movie, something like that?
It literally, I'll be honest, changes like every day. There's like 3 areas that I'm like, okay, I could see myself in any of those kind of areas. There's like marketing. I did a marketing intern this summer.
I was gonna ask you about that.
With Nike, and I love that. And they like were even in like my application process, we're like, oh, we like love your 2 majors. Like that's so like creative. That's perfect for marketing. And there's a lot I like about that. So like marketing, advertising, and then there's like journalism, and then there's like going into film, like some kind of industry, like something in that industry. So I don't know. It changes every day.
So what is it? Okay, so when we walk through our facility, we have a big board, and you're on
yeah.
There's literally like a
My
big board. I don't even know
like,
how long. It's probably like the size of this TV.
Yeah.
A little thinner.
Bigger.
A little thinner.
Yeah.
And is that for just Nike internship?
Yeah.
So do they accept like one person or something, or how does that work?
So there was one from TCU this year. I don't know if there's ever been like multiple from TCU at one time, but it's for the past like 4 years. It's gone to an equestrian.
Shout out Bree.
Bree, Jada,
Shout
everyone.
out Bree.
Yeah, and it's gone to an equestrian, and there was, I don't know if anybody else from TCU applies. Like I know they push it to athletes a lot, so they had like a big seminar over Zoom, like just talking about like the Nike stuff. But there was 34,000 applicants.
And how many got in?
There was like 100 or 200 maybe a little less. Yeah.
Jeez.
I had no idea until we're like sitting in the auditorium there in Oregon, and they're like, you're the top 1% out of 34,000. And I was like it was insane. It was like,
what did they do there? Take us through the whole thing.
The whole process. Yeah. Okay. So
this is a big deal.
Yeah. The interview process went from about August or September to January is when I got it. So it was like there's 3 interviews. I had a phone call. I had to send in my resume, obviously. Then that gets like passed like on to the next level, and then you get a phone call. And then you never are like declare what you are like wanting to go into. They have you like check a little box, but it's not like I'm applying for like this position as like a marketing intern or like business analyst, something like that. they call you, they like analyze you, like they ask you a ton of like really in-depth questions, like what would you do in this scenario, and like what did you do in this scenario, and like how did it turn out, how did you feel about it? Like it was, I was on the phone with her for 45 minutes, but it went really well, but it was a lot. Like I just was like, oh my god,
stressing
like
out,
rethinking my entire life. Like how did I respond? I don't know, how did I respond in that moment? But it was great. And then so I had then 2 like Zoom interviews, and those were a lot easier. Like they were a lot more conversational and just really chill. And I talked to this one guy who like does all the, it's like the Nike grassroots program, but so he works with like all these pro athletes, like Saquon Barkley, like he just did this whole like thing with him where they just go to these like high schools or middle schools and like bring the athletes out and just to get people like into sport. And I think just like my passion for the brand, like even when I was talking to him, like he was like, you just shot to the top of my list. Like I'm going to like have this big meeting. I'm going to like bring you up in it. And like, so I ended up getting it in January. And they didn't let us know until about May if it was going to be in person or not. Because when Bree did it, she was virtual, which was still like awesome. But I was just like praying they would like send me somewhere. And then they told me I got it. They were like, okay, you're a marketing intern, but we're not sure like we're replacing you yet. And they sent us this kind of like questionnaire, like write-in questionnaire. And it was like, rank your locations. And I had actually ranked their New York office number 1 because I was like, yeah, New York. I'll be in New York for a summer. I was like, Oregon's pretty cool, and that's like where their world headquarters is. Yeah. But they had asked another question, like, are you a sneakerhead? And so I wrote no, I wrote no, but I said no. But then I like look in my closet and I look at like my like Jordan mochas and like I like listed off a few of my favorite shoes.
That's about a sneakerhead.
And then I talked about like, is creasing like good? Does it show you like love the shoe? Is it bad because it like ruins it? Yeah. And then they were like, so they put me on the sneakers team. So I was on the sneakers brand marketing team, and that was they gave me these. They gave me like 6 pairs of shoes. It was
wow.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah,
having all the shoes, I feel like that's qualified to be a sneakerhead. Come on.
I mean, I had like about like 3 good pairs, and then but I think it was just the answer kind of.
And being on that team, what did they have you do? Like, did you help with, like, I'm just speaking, I don't know.
No. I mean, even like, they had me, so there was the sneakers and neighborhood team, and the neighborhood is kind of like a branch of sneakers in a way, but they're kind of with their retail partners more, but like more boutique-y partners. So that was like a really cool experience being in there, because we had this big like summit where they brought in all their partners, and I was like getting lunch, and like Michael Jordan's son was right there because he's like a neighborhood partner. Like he's got his own, like it was cool. I got to like see all their like shoes come, like their Jordans and everything coming out in the spring, and like it was so cool. But what I did on like a day to day, I mean, they had to do a ton as interns. Like not only like would your team assign you stuff to do, like Nike itself, like the intern program, we did this huge 5.5 week. You get placed in this intern group, and they give you a prompt, and they're like, okay, what is an idea for Nike to like launch into the future, or like something in that area? Like other people had stuff like focused in different areas, but that was like our focus. So we had to come up with this idea and build it out, and like in every way, like from like start to finish, and the marketing plan for it and how it would integrate into Nike. And then we had to like present it to everybody.
Oh man.
And it was intense. Like it took so much time, but it was really rewarding. But on top of that, like with my team and stuff, I would do kind of more intern duties, kind of like, tracking like content, so like stuff like that, more like reports. But they would also let me come up with some like of the polling like ideas that would come up on sneakers, and like I would get all the imagery for them that they were going to push on sneakers, and so stuff like that. Yeah,
that's as qualified as you can get for a marketer. I feel like.
I hope so. I don't know.
Were you able to? My bad. Were you able to sit in on like some of the big meetings? Like you said, how you knew about like some releases. That was like the biggest thing. We're like, oh, like.
The biggest thing was probably like kind of towards the end. They invited us to like my team to like a merchandising meeting where they were talking about like how much, like what shoes they were going to order, how many shoes they were going to order, and they had like all of the samples of the shoes in that room. So like everything that's like coming out in like the winter and like spring, like I got to like see and like hold, and like it was pretty. That was pretty dope. Oh yeah, there were some I was like, I don't know about these, like, but actually one of the guys from athletics was like, Maddie B, look at these, like, and he like pulled up a picture, and I was like, oh my god, those were the ones I didn't like. Like they were like, I was like, oh yeah, those look awesome. Wow. Like yeah,
that's good. Yeah. All right, so you are from Scottsdale, Arizona, correct?
Yeah.
Did you live there your whole life? Like,
I lived in Tucson, which is like 2 hours away from there, but I moved when I was in kindergarten, so basically Scottsdale.
So how did you get into, I guess, being a horse rider? Did I say it right?
Yeah,
right?
like riding horses.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like started begging my mom when I was about 5 years old. I think we had gone to like a little fair and there was like a little pony ride and I went around on it and I just like loved it. And because a lot of girls, like even on the team or just anybody who rides horses, it's a family thing. Like their mom did it, their older sister, someone in their family has experience in horses. And like my mom is so scared of horses. Like even to this day, my little sister does it now too. And she always freaks out, but I just wouldn't stop begging her. So finally, like my 5th birthday, she took me for a trail ride and I just like, she thought that was like going to be enough and kind of like settle it down. But I just like wouldn't stop asking. So she put me in lessons and that was that.
That is insane to think about. I guess being a parent too is like the littlest thing. Yeah. Like you're doing what you're doing now, and that's because of that engagement that you have with that horse.
Yeah, the fair.
Yeah, like I just never thought about it like that. I can't even. Football was kind of thrown at me, so that's. But like, it's good that you know that happened. That's insane to think about. I guess as a parent, but for me, I think I took a class. I forgot what it's called. It had to do with horses.
Oh,
so we
really?
went to. I don't even know what it's called. I feel bad, but
was it like an equine therapy class?
Yes,
like something like
that's what it was. And we saw the horses. I'm terrified of those things.
Are you really?
Yes. I just feel like being big as I am, I'm seen as a threat to them. like it's a territorial thing. Like they're looking at me like that. And I'm like, dude, if I touch you, I don't want to get bit or anything.
Stop.
See, look, and now you're about to be like, hey,
it's so funny because it's like, do you guys remember like Coach Parker, like Matt Parker? On like the strength and conditioning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he was our strength and conditioning coach. And he came out and we put him on a horse. And he's like a big guy too. So if he can get on, like you guys can get on. And he was on like one of our smallest horses. Like when I think back at it, I'm like, oh, I don't know if that was like the right one to put him on. Like she's small. Like she is really, really small. Even like she looks small when I'm on her. So she looked like a miniature pony. When
you didn't know if it was going to be able to carry him?
Well, no, like we just were like, oh, Coach Parker, get on. And then like looking back, like I saw the picture the other day and I was like, why did we put him on her?
The ratio wasn't right.
Yeah, like I mean, she did it. So clearly it can be done. So awesome. Yeah.
So
I had talked to Coker and I told him that we did a switch day with basketball last year. And where the basketball came in, basketball guys came and they rode our horses. So I was like, Coker, like we need to make that happen with football.
Please.
Like that,
I haven't rode a horse. It's been like years.
Yeah,
like I was probably like 10. So I would love to do that.
It's fun. Yeah. It's really fun. It's like so fun. Like it was so fun watching them like ride the horses, especially Eddie. He like loves.
Was he going
horses.
Crazy?
Oh my god, he almost fell off. Like because he was like, I want to run, and we were like, no, I don't think you should run, Eddie. And he was like, no, I'm gonna run. And they started trying to do a race down the middle of the arena with the horses, and we were just sitting there watching. And he's running down the arena, then he can't get it to stop, and he starts like circling it. And I was like, oh, he's coming off. Like I don't know how he stayed on. It was actually impressive.
For the horse?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a little bit, but no, they were fine. They've experienced like because when we compete, we have other teams come, and sometimes like
they don't know how to.
Not that they don't know, but it's like you're riding for a point, and so some people get really aggressive. So it's like sometimes they get a little like PTSD, like fried after. Yeah.
I don't have a question.
So I think I talked to Brie about this because I didn't really understand like how horse riding goes. So if you can just explain like the different disciplines.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, there's 4 different disciplines, at least within collegiate riding. It's the flat, which is like completely made up. Like that's not something they do in the flat.
Okay.
So it's like that's when you're in an English saddle. It's like the girls who come in for like jumping. So that's we have the fences and that's jumping. So those girls come in and then it's like they get placed in the flat or fences or sometimes both.
So jumping is flat.
So jumping is going over the jumps.
Yeah. And
then there's the flat, which is like there's no jumps and you're in like a little box and you do a pattern. And then
through the gates.
Not even like there's like just a box and the pattern is inside the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. And then the 2 Western disciplines are horsemanship and reining, and I do the reining.
Yeah. So what makes a good horse rider?
I think it's a lot of like it's like patience, it's being thoughtful, it's like having feel. So it's like, can you sense what the horse is doing, how they're feeling, what they're like, if they're anticipating something, if they're wanting to go this way and you're actually wanting them to go that way. Like I think it's just a lot like being kind of in tune with them, like how well you are able to.
So do y'all spend a lot of time with those horses, like building like a deeper connection?
That is the one thing that's so different about collegiate riding is because you come here and it's not about that anymore. Like that's what it's always been about is like you have this connection with your horse and that contributes a lot to your success with them. And then you come here and it's like, okay, you have 4 minutes to ride this horse and then go show it and you've never been on it before. Yeah. How are you going to do it?
I think Bree was telling me about that. You just get on a random horse. But so when you travel, do y'all ride y'all's TCU horses or you get on some random?
So when we flew to South Dakota, we competed against South Dakota and then UT Martin, and we ride their horses. And so we went to Baylor last week and we rode their horses, and you get on it, especially with the Big 12 schools. Now I'm a senior, like I know the other horses a little bit. Like there's some I'm like, I want that one. I don't want that one. I know that one's going to not be good, or like, so something.
You get to choose.
No.
Oh,
it's a complete
you're
like
just
luck of
hoping
the
that
draw.
you don't
You're just hoping. You're like, okay, like maybe that one, like, but still, like they're different every time. Even like our own horses, like they're different every time. Like there's some you're like, oh yeah, I totally like tomorrow I'm like, oh yeah, I want to draw that one, and then I could draw that one and be not his day. Like they have. It's like you guys play football. Like it's like our ball like has like a personality and like could be in a bad mood one day and like
I always thought that y'all traveled with. Like y'all like build this whole connection because I always see pictures because I have some friends that were like wearing equestrian have horses. I always post pictures like with a specific horse. It's like their favorite. I always thought that y'all had like one horse.
I mean the only time we take horses is when we go to Big 12s and nationals. We take horses there.
Do they have to be qualified? Like because you think that someone could like be sabotaging and like mess with the horse before. I doubt they'd do that. But like.
The thing with like the horses we get, there's like a reason we have them. They're donated. So it's like you're not going to donate like the most perfect, beautiful, like majestic horse there is, you know, like it's not, they come because like somebody doesn't want them. They're not maybe the best. They've kind of got some like soreness issues that people can't like, don't want to manage. So they come here for a reason, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But so it's kind of,
On top of what he was saying about like building a relationship, because I'm sure a lot of people have dogs, and just the relationship you could build with a dog is just so. If you don't have one, you won't get it. But like, it's just like, you know what I'm talking about. It's I can't even explain it. So relating that to horses, like how does that like because emotional aspects have to be into it too. The horses have emotions too. Some horses are smarter than people think. Correct?
Oh yeah, I mean that's a huge part of riding horses. Is like they are very. If you get on a horse scared, like. That horse knows, like he is or she, like they are not gonna vibe with that. Like you've got to, even if, I mean, I've gotten on horses some places, like at schools we go to, and I'm like, oh my God, like I might die today. Like it's like, cause some of them are like crazy. Like they get donated for a reason. Like some of them, we got like show sour or like ring sour. Like they go in and they're just like in a different world. You know, it's kind of like us, like when we prepare ourselves one way, but like you get on stage or like stage fright, like they get a little bit like a deer in the headlights, and like you've got to hear in this format, like you kind of just got to like learn to like be like, it's okay, I've got you, or like, you know, just find a way to like fake it till you make it.
Have you ever not had a good performance and you're like, oh, this horse sucks or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's like so many times you're like, this thing, but like at the end of the day, it's like not their fault. You know, it's like this whole format is like, how do you ride that horse to the best of their abilities? Because it's like someone else has to ride it too. And so it's like, you're both on a pretty even playing field there. Like there is some advantage if you go first on the horse or second on the horse. But at the end of the day, it's like, there's people who win their point when they go first, and there's people who win their point when they go second. There's no like, it doesn't sway one way more than the other. So yeah.
How's that like grade or like point system, I guess, work? Because I know it's like different. Like I think from like discipline to discipline.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like know what do they grade and like how does that, what details on that?
What I can compare it to is like ice skating. Like how do you grade a move? Like, you know what I mean?
That's all.
So in like an entire meet, there's I think 20 points because there's about 20 people on roster. So there's like 5 for reining, 5 for horsemanship, and 5 for the other disciplines too. So there's the 20 points available, and you're riding for that point. But to get that point, you have to get the higher score. So for reining, the baseline is a 70. You walk into the arena and you start with a 70. And every maneuver is judged from there. So it's like you walk in, let's say the pattern is you turn left, you turn right. Oh. So when you do your left turn, you could like minus half your left turn, and you're at a 69.5. and then you could +1 your other turn, and then you're, back up to a 70.5 or whatever it is, So it kind of fluctuates like that. So we always like the judges who are just very consistent, because sometimes like scores will be all over the place or scores will be really high. Like I went somewhere and I got a 76.5, which like is like scores only like the professionals get. Like when I got that, I was like, and especially because that pattern was not the pattern I thought like I would get a 76. Like there's times I've walked out and been like,
what the?
There's times I've walked out though and I've been like, oh, I got that. Like that was a high score right there. And they're like, I mean, they say something and you're like, what? Like, yeah.
That is exactly how it is for us.
Yeah.
Like because when we play, we will think we did some like, oh yeah, man, like I did blah, blah, and we'll go watch it on film. Like, dude, I suck. Yeah. Like it's very humbling. It's very humbling. I will say, but as I was saying, like, is there like, because again, when we're talking about bad horses, do they get graded differently for having a horse who hasn't graded so high? Or
it's kind of like the judge can take it into like it's judge's discretion. So if they are like, they can kind of see, oh, that horse is a little crazy or not having a great day, like they might be a little kinder to you. Like, because I feel like at least most of them really try to be as fair as possible, and being like, oh, bad day, your horse like did the best you could on it. And it's kind of because you're still against that other person, so it's like even if that horse is having a bad day, whoever can get him through it is going to get the point.
Wow, that is insane.
Dude,
I definitely learned a lot today. And that being said, I think we're running out we're running out of time. Sorry. I appreciate you for coming, man. I'm telling you a lot. This was so interesting. Like I really didn't know much aside from what Bree told me. I haven't forgotten. But yeah, it was really interesting. I mean,
I learned a lot.
Yeah, riding horses is just something that not a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Just
we'll have to get you guys out to a meet.
Please,
no, seriously.
Yeah, I never know where y'all like compete at.
We need to like
there's
like broadcast it a little bit.
There's somewhere
more.
Like closer, past 30. Like people ride horse that was like shows. I don't know
that's
like a
huge.
Like where y'all at? So.
No, we're further down Chisholm. It's like 15, 20 minutes away from campus.
When's y'all's next home meet besides tomorrow?
Next Thursday, and then the one after that I think is the Friday.
What
after
time
that.
is that? Next Thursday. Do you know?
Like 10 o'clock.
AM?
It's usually in the morning. I know that's the one thing.
Dude. Yeah.
That's the one thing.
We'll find something.
Yeah,
we'll find because I definitely want to go.
Yeah.
But again, we appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
on. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will catch y'all next week.
Peace.
Roxo Media House.